As you guys know, BMW have recently released the M2 CS, and you'll know that this is not it. Let's take a closer look at what BMW have done on the M2 CS, and then take a look at our version and see how it differs. So let's take a closer look at the specs of the BMW M2 CS. It has 523 horsepower, which is 50 more than the standard car, 36 pound-foot of torque extra, which makes it 479 foot-pound of torque. There is no manual version, so it's only ZF 8-speed. For some reason, the US version is lighter than the Euro version. So in the US, the car is 44 kg lighter than the stock car, and in Europe, it's 30 kgs lighter. So that's 14 kg difference. Now, I don't know whether the actual car is lighter or for some reason the stock car is heavier in the USA and they're talking about how much weight they've deleted. Hopefully we'll find out more information about that. So what does the extra power and the reduction in weight lead to? Well, it is going to lead to a more dynamic car, but in terms of times, it's 0.2 seconds quicker to 60. And remember, this is still rear-wheel drive. So when people are saying, why isn't it as fast as a four-wheel drive G80, it's not, because it's not four-wheel drive. All the power is going to the rear. Inside the car, it has a carbon center console, an Alcantara flat bottom steering wheel, and model-specific engine mounting. Now, I don't know what that means yet, but we do know that the M4 CSL had specific engine mounts and gearbox mounts to make the car stiffer. So I'm assuming it's something along those lines. BMW also say it has bespoke tuning for springs and dampers, including chassis control systems. So what we think is, because the car is sitting 8mm lower, it has different springs and dampers, and BMW have also reworked the EDC settings in the car. And we've seen how successful that is in previous models, like the F80 M3. The difference between that and the CS from just software changes was quite large, and I'm assuming they've done something very similar in this. The car also has a CS specific carbon rear diffuser, a CS specific open front grille, and a rubber large front lip. So a bit like what Porsche have done. I mean, I am missing the fact that it should have a carbon fiber front lip like our car does, but rubber, I don't know if the car is that low to be actually damaging it, but we'll see how that goes. And also the most visual thing about the whole car, in what you'd expect from a CSL, and this is a CS, is the ducktail from the famous E46 M3. So that's a rundown of the M2 CS. If you guys follow our channel, you know that I made my own version of the CS CSL for Essen Motor Show in December. We're building that car for the last 6 months. So let's take a look at our car and see how close we got to BMW CS, or did we actually go a little bit further? So BMW built a CS. What we did was build something that's CSL inspired. So we've actually gone a little bit further than BMW have with the CS. So let's take a look at some of the differences. You can see the styling is more aggressive. It has a carbon front splitter with much more design elements than the M2 CS. It has a CSL inspired front grille. It has a carbon fiber bonnet, which I'm really surprised is omitted from the CS, because all CSs have a different bonnet. And not only is it carbon fiber, it also has a huge vent in it to help keep the engine cool. It has yellow DRLs, which are also missing from the CS. And if we move around here, this is one of the similarities, is that we're running CSL wheels, but ours are black rather than the gold, and we're running star rated Cup 2 tires, and these are absolutely fantastic on the track. We also have carbon fiber wings, which BMW haven't done on any of their cars, so we've gone that little bit further. It has a carbon vent here moving around the back of the car. You can see we also have a ducktail boot lid, but this one is made by our friend, as is the whole body kit, and I think this actually looks better than the BMW one because it has more shape to it. The BMW one is very flat, but of course that's going to be personal preference. It also has the rakes on the top here which match the rakes on the roof. Down here we have carbon fiber trims on our Eisenman exhaust, and we also have a carbon fiber diffuser which matches the angular nature of this car. Let's take a look at the engine bay because there's something missing from the M2 CS, and that's the CSL brace. Under the full carbon hood, we continue the carbon fiber theme, and we have a full carbon suite from Venturi. The carbon fiber strut brace is a work of art. So we did originally have the OE M4 CSL strut brace on there, and then when Venturi launched this, we quickly switched it over. This is slightly lighter than the standard item, but it's fully made from carbon fiber, has much more design elements to it, and it looks absolutely stunning. And this is paired up with a set of Venturi carbon fiber intakes, turbo inlets, and a full engine cover. So you can see that we've actually gone a little bit further than BMW have. Theirs was a CS, ours is more CSL, and that includes the suspension parts from the M4 CSL that we could carry over, like the hubs, the anti-roll bars, and the software for the steering, gearbox, and differential. Continuing with the CSL theme, we have the full carbon buckets from the CSL, a steering wheel which has been retrimmed to look like the CSL steering wheel, and also some magnetic paddle shifters. With our stage 1 warranty tune, this car has 600 horsepower and 600 foot-pound of torque, and with all the carbon fiber we've used, we've reduced the weight by 42 kilograms. So not only is this car more powerful than the CS, it also weighs less. Now, I don't know how the M2 CS is going to drive. I'm sure it's going to be amazing if any of the previous CSs are to go by, but I do know how this one drives. So let's go on the road and I can show you what it's like. Ever since we took delivery of our M4 CSL, I was very curious as to the changes that have been made to it, because that car feels significantly and noticeably different to a normal G80 M4. And you have to remember, I've had significant time in a normal M4, and now we've owned our CSL since new, and we've done around 4,000 miles, including track days at the Nürburgring, Goodwood, and Bilsterberg. And when I looked more closely into it, BMW had changed quite a lot over the standard M4. So the car had different hubs to provide more camber, to provide more accurate turning, especially when on the track. There was different engine mounts, different gearbox mounts, and different anti-roll bars, along with various changes to the suspension and the steering, gearbox, and traction. We know that M2 is on the same chassis, so we thought, what better than to take the M4 CSL OEM parts and apply them to this car, and that's exactly what we did. We changed the hubs, the anti-roll bars, the software in the steering, differential, and gearbox, and we made what we think is a mini M4 CSL. I have experience of driving that car and this back to back, and this now feels like the M4 CSL to me. And we have put the star rated Cup 2 tires on this, and that made a significant difference to the way the car drove. I've done track days at Brands Hatch now, and also Nürburgring GP circuit, and the car performs amazingly, as well as the improved handling of the car. This also has slightly more power than BMW have given the M2 CS. So with this we have 600 horsepower and 600 foot-pound of torque, which is about 80 more horsepower than the CS, and also around 100 foot-pound torque more. So it's a little bit spicier than the M2 CS, and it's more akin with the power that the M4 CSL has from the factory, because that's slightly underrated. That makes around 580 horsepower. But in terms of feel, to me the M4 CSL always felt more like a Porsche GT car, and that's exactly what we've done to this. The extra mountings on the engine and the gearbox are slightly stiffer than the stock ones, and it just makes everything feel more connected. In terms of weight, we've got this improved by 44 kg, so it's 44 kgs lighter than a stock EU M2, which is 14 kg lighter than the CS. But obviously we've gone a little bit further because we have a carbon hood or bonnet, carbon wings, and also the CSL full carbon buckets, not just the carbon buckets that you get from the M4. But overall, the driving experience of this is really fun. The difference between what we've created in this and the M4 CSL is because this has a slightly shorter wheelbase, it's a little bit more skittish and a little bit more fun. You have to be wary of how you drive it, especially if you want to drive it with the traction off. I normally drive it in MDM because it will allow me a little bit of slip before it intercedes, but with these tires, when they're warm, it has so much grip and it's a lot of fun. So remember, the M2 CS doesn't come in manual, so if you've already got a manual M2 and you want to build something like the CS but with a manual gearbox, we can do that for you. Or if you already have an M2 and you want to apply some of the changes that we've done to this, we can also do that. The M2 CS does come in at 90 to 95,000 pounds depending on how you spec it. Not everyone will want to spend that money, or if you're even lucky enough to get an allocation, but we can tailor an M2 build to your specifications. Obviously what we've done on this is everything we can possibly do, but you don't have to do everything. You could just have the handling pack, you could just have some of the visuals, but in the end you'll end up with a car that's individually tailored to yourself. I personally love this car. I think we've done a great job on it. It's a lot of fun. I've driven to Germany, I've done track days. It is very much a complete all-rounder, and I think it looks very special with the full Alpha N body kit. I'm going to head back to the workshop now. If you're interested in any of the parts and packages we have for this car, head over to our website. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you liked the video, please remember to smash that like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. If you want to join the conversation, please drop a comment below and we'll try our best to respond to you. If you want to watch more of this project, you can do so over here. If you want to watch what YouTube thinks you might like from our other content, you can do so over here.